everybody was asking me, man, you got to do with Mike Epps, Kevin Hart beef, and I'm like, well, it really wasn't no beef. Kevin Hart, that was the only time I ever heard Kevin Hart really come out and address the situation, and that's what made it like go global. But here's the truth and reality: Kevin Hart had beat Mike Epps out for a movie, and Mike Epps got upset about it. And let me explain to you what happened from the beginning, because that's where we need to go. You know, next Friday come out, and it's got yours truly, Day Day. Now, when Day Day came out, everybody was mad because they was, oh, this bootleg Chris Tucker. Who's this guy? Mike Epps. Nobody ever heard of no Mike Epps. Some bootleg Chris Tucker. What? He ain't gonna be funny like Chris Tucker. Then they watched the movie and they liked him. They loved Day Day. And Mike Epps' character became a hit. And then All About the Benjamins come around. And he put Mike Epps in there because Mike Epps is hiding. Mike Epps went through the roof. Then it was Mike Epps shows. Everybody got to hear Mike Epps do his comedy specials. So he was the it man in Hollywood. He started getting all these movie roll calls, and all the way up until like 2006. Cat Williams come on the scene. Cat Williams come out with Pimp Chronicles, and everybody forgot about Mike Epps overnight. And Cat Williams attacked everybody. Every comedian. Then he turns his attention to doing shows in the same city as Mike Epps. Cat Williams was selling out. Mike Epps was in some little arena that hosts maybe 150 people doing New Year's shows in the same city, Chicago, my town. 2 years in a row, they both did it, the same thing. And my buddy went to see Mike Epps. I went to see Cat. Now, after the second New Year's performance, you know, people was like, dude, you did the same jokes you did the year before. And they was ready to beat up Mike Epps because they like, look, we spent all this money. I got my girl out here and you saying the same jokes you said last year. And then Mike Epps hitting them with that. Man, it's been a hard year, man. I'm going through a lot, brother, man. I'm just going through a lot, man. I'm going to make it up to y'all. I'm going to come back to Chicago, man. I'm going to make it up. Man, I'm going to give y'all a real one. But, you know, right now I'm kind of going through it. You know, when he come out there and doing the same Friday jokes, I'm 45. I'm like, are you kidding me? He did that. He was like, man, he did the same thing the year before. And he kept doing it like it was funny. He was like, nobody was laughing. It was terrible. I was like, wow. I'm like, Cat had everybody wrote. I'm like, we all had a great time when we was at. And he was selling out the airy crowd. And Cat Williams had replaced Mike Epps. So that when Ice Cube next movie was coming out, when he did First Sunday, the comedian he chose to use was Cat Williams. And Mike Epps felt betrayed. I'm like, dude, he tried you with janky promoters, and that was a terrible. First, that was a terrible movie, and then it was, man, you didn't have no buzz no more. Your buzz is gone. Cube got to stay relevant, you know. And Kevin Hart was slated to do a movie, and it was an audition read, and they had all these comedians come in. And the person that beat him out was Kevin Hart. And it was Think Like a Man. And when Think Like a Man came out, and Kevin Hart had beat him out for that role, and he was like, Kevin Hart. They decided to go with Kevin Hart. I said, alright. Then Kevin Hart's in another movie, About Last Night. And he was like, man, Kevin Hart is in another one. Then, next thing you know, Ice Cube, who was doing a movie, Ride Along, and he didn't know who he was going to get for the movie, and he ended up giving the role to Kevin Hart, because Kevin Hart was the man. He was out there already. And right away, Mike Epps was offended. And the Real Housewives of it, the Real Husbands of Atlanta or whatever, that TV show he got, here comes Mike Epps. I heard Shaquille O'Neal was humping on Kevin Hart. I hope Kevin ain't out there cooning, because that's what Hollywood wants you to do, start cooning. See, it's that crab in the barrel mentality. Who's ever on the top, they instead of saying, man, why don't you help me do my show? You know, I'm not hot right now, things ain't picking up, but since you hot and we brothers, man, why don't you help me out? With Hollywood, they can't do that. They feel they gotta attack you to draw dialogue. And then Kevin Hart just is attacking him left and right. Like, dude, you waiting on Ice Cube to do the Friday after next Friday after next Friday? You know, so after this go down, he comes out again and goes on radio calling him overrated. Overrated. It's one thing to say Kevin Hart ain't funny, but to say the guy's overrated, there's no black overrated actor in Hollywood. They're all underrated. Please stop it. It's like embarrassing. Like Kevin Hart was like, do you want me to do shows on the same night you doing them in and just shut you down? Because pretty soon Kevin Hart won't be the man no more. Y'all gonna find another comedian to replace him with. Y'all already saying he ain't funny no more. When Kevin Hart, y'all act like they chose Kevin Hart to be in that position he's in. Like, man, let's just take Kevin Hart. No, Hollywood wasn't checking for Kevin Hart. And y'all know that. Kevin Hart was in, what's that, Paper Soldiers? Back in like 98, Dame Dash still take credit for Kevin Hart's career. When he put him in that, like, I put Kevin Hart in his first starring role. It's Dame Dash The Rock. So, I remember 40-Year-Old Virgin, that one scene they cut him out. Kevin Hart has been putting in work consistently to get where he is. Y'all don't understand that. This is a man who made himself popular by understanding and how to work social media. He had all these fans from overseas who was watching his bits and shows on the internet. Seriously Funny and Laugh at My Pain put him in a lot of places that people wanted to hear him. And when he did those shows, those stand-up shows, it was him to say, let's go overseas. We got all these people from overseas that are writing on his social media saying, hey, I'm from over here. Let's go overseas and do some shows. So that for when your movies, because black films don't normally get released overseas because there's no market for it, they say. Oh, there's no market. And then the overseas dollars, as you can see in Hollywood, the foreign is almost or sometimes greater than the domestic. And you be wondering how this film make $100-some million. We barely saw it in the theaters because the foreign sales kick in. But with black films, we don't really get a release at all. If we get one theater, But when you do a comedy tour overseas, where everybody internationally get to see your face, shake your hand, take Twitter pictures, Kevin Hart was driving to movie theaters and shaking fans' hands. How many of y'all did that? He was revolutionizing the way to be personable with the fans and the people that were spending money to see him. He was making time in his life for them to make himself hot. So when his movies come out, and it's got him in it, when they go to international sales, people demand that they get their movie because they want to see Kevin Hart. So the company over there was like, okay, they'll get a screening of a Kevin Hart movie. People, it sells. They like Kevin Hart over there. They like this. People never thought about marketing overseas. The studio said, well, no, don't do that. There's no money in it over there. They're not going to watch the film. We're not going to spend the money. So you have to force the studio's hand. And that's what Kevin did. He went overseas and showed them, these are the numbers. This is what the fans want to see. This is what's going on. This was happening. To force the studio to do that. Believe me, they don't love Kevin Hart. Nobody loves him. He works hard. He put himself in that position and said, look, I'm helping you make some money so I can make some money. This is my name on it. To them, he's just another actor. So don't think, oh, with the Illuminati, they protecting Kevin Hart. Nobody's protecting Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart made it because he worked hard. He busts his butt every day. But to take that credit that a black man do and give it to an imaginary white supremacist group, that just shows you the mentality of programming that goes on in y'all minds. Y'all so programmed to give credit to somebody else for another person's success. No black man can work hard and accomplish anything unless the white man says it's okay. That kind of dumb mentality and thinking is what keeps you in prison. Keeps you on Section 8. It keeps you just not wanting to try. But yet, the government's after you. Why would the government be after you when you're already not a problem to the government? You are right where the government wants you to be. So believe me, they're not trying to spy on you in the TV. They're not trying to tap your phone, cell phones, when they're giving you the free phones, because they already know you're going to talk about Housewives of Atlanta and what somebody said about you on Facebook. So yes, they're going to spend all these government dollars so they can monitor you. Someone they already got under the thumb. Why in the world would they care? You're not. There's nothing you can say that's going to bring any change to anything. But those are the main conspiracy theories. If you ever notice that, it's always the people who ain't doing nothing with the most conspiracy theories of all times. And I know that's why y'all, all the people are like, yeah, I rock with you, but I ain't rocking with that video. Because when you put a mirror to people's face, nobody likes that. You know, it's time to act. Stop being part of the problem. If you're doing the same thing you did yesterday, not trying to take steps to better your life for yourself, instead of sitting back blaming somebody else for doing something else. I don't understand it. The cycle ain't gonna change. And we all know Mike Epps is sorry now, because the first person that called and congratulated him when he got the Richard Pryor role was Kevin Hart. Kevin was like, man, congratulations on Richard, man. This is a big road, man. It's a big step for you. First person to congratulate him was Kevin Hart. And called him personally when he didn't even have to do it. But yet, what do? We want to tear down Kevin Hart. It's ridiculous. And I keep going in here, people want to battle one over the other. It's not a battle. Both guys are funny. Cat Williams is funny. Mike Epps is funny. Kevin Hart is funny. There's plenty of Earthquake is funny. There's a lot of comedians out here that's funny. Some might be better than others, but they all entertain me. I'll watch them both, so I don't have a problem with either one. But y'all feel like this is a way we need to decipher who's better between the two. It's silly. I'll never hear Jerry Seinfeld talking about he better than C.K. Lewis and all these people. We don't hear that. You know why? They just care about doing shows. But with us, it's always got to be some one or the other. It's ridiculous.